Nope, he produced.
Okay. Because Judd's been on the COVID list here, and I think Keys is a close contact. I don't know what our protocol is, but
Oh, Keys doesn't care.
okay.
Keys said I'm good and handed me 4 keys that I've got on my phone right here.
Wow. All right. Well, 4 keys, and actually, I'm going to be the master music mixer here.
All right.
Unless no, Dex, you got
I
it.
got
You're
it.
back in the studio.
Yep,
All right.
I got it.
All right. These are 4 keys to a Vikings win in a place they rarely win, Soldier Field.
And I'm glad you said that. That's a perfect transition to how the keys will start with key number 4. Forget the past. That's key 4. So, the Vikings have lost 5 of their past 6 to the Bears. Kirk Cousins is 3-4 with 9 touchdowns, but 5 picks in those 7 games. But Kirk Cousins in 2021, gentlemen, has 27 touchdowns and 5 picks. He has been, for the most part, extremely efficient. The Vikings a year ago on a Monday night went into Soldier Field in Chicago, and I believe the final score was Minnesota 19, Chicago 13. In other words, it was a win. The Bears and the Vikings aren't off the hook completely here, but the Bears are ravaged with COVID. All of their coordinators are out. Every one of their OC, their DC, their special teams guy, every one of their coordinators right now is on the COVID protocol list. The Bears have also started to, and this is not shocking, turn on each other. There was a quote I saw this week where basically a player said, some of us are still going as hard as we could possibly go, and some aren't. That in sports is incredibly damning. So forget the past. Forget when the Bears have had your number. Forget when the Bears have surprised you by trying hard. Everything in this game screams, if you come out and play it like you should. And the first half of the Pittsburgh game, right? That's the template. That's the template, baby. You are going to win this game. I know that you lost in Detroit. That was a debacle. But the past in Chicago should have zero effect. Zero effect.
See,
it
we
shouldn't even
say
be
that
in your head.
Minnesota sports teams oddly
I'm putting it on
maintain
them.
connection to the past, right?
Agreed.
The Minnesota Twins, well, these other teams that lost playoff games have no bearing. It's like, well, then why do you play like those games do have bearing? It's weird.
The Chicago Bears are turning on each other. The Bears are turning on each other.
I'm still nervous.
Allow that to happen and beat them.
I'm still nervous because I feel like if there's one thing that can unite the Chicago Bears, it's a Minnesota Vikings trip to Soldier Field. Although, to your point, last year, Vikings win on, I think it was a Monday night or Sunday night. It was a primetime game.
It was a Monday night game,
Monday night game.
1913.
And I think that's when we got this infamous locker room moment.
So, I heard it all week long, right? 0-9 on Monday night. You like how this tastes? You like that?
How do you butcher that bad?
He blew the line.
But you like that. Like, it's not like he added words to it.
I want this version.
Why?
I think this is after they beat the Saints in a playoff game. Like, it's been a while since we've had this Kirk, I think, after a big game.
Hey, you held him to 20 points, man. You gave us a chance at the end. But I got 3 words for you. You like that?
13-year-old Kirk.
Let's get one of those, man.
Puberty
get back
Kirk.
to 500.
You like that?
Puberty Kirk. All right, so
Peter
next
Brady.
key here. Next key.
Okay, key number 3
Here we go.
to a Vikings win on Monday night against the Chicago Bears. Protection plan. Do you have protection? Because if you go to Chicago without protection,
Always use protection.
it's going to be a problem. You're running into people you don't know well. Bears linebacker Robert Quinn is 3rd in the National Football League with 14 sacks. And that could be a problem. But let me tell you right now, if you have the proper protection, it won't be. And let me tell you what the Vikings did. The Vikings in week 2, if you recall, went to Arizona with protection in pocket.
Just make sure when Robert Quinn's coming.
And did a
got
great
protection.
job. And did a great job. You got to have protection. Remember in week 2 against the Cardinals, business trip. Chandler Jones. I believe in the opener, Chandler Jones had something like 5 sacks or 4 sacks. He had a ridiculous amount of sacks in one game, and we all thought
Yeah, he loves to have sacks.
Vikings are in trouble because he loves to have sacks. The sacks are where it's at. He has 9. Chandler Jones has 9 and 1/2 sacks now on the season, but in that game he had none. Why?
Very active.
Because the Vikings had
Penetrates.
protection. No, but the Vikings wouldn't allow the penetration because they had the protection.
Keys is off the rails. Yeah.
I don't understand what you guys are having a problem with when I'm talking about the need for protection here.
I don't
Kirk
either.
needs to be-
We're
Kirk
12
needs
we're
to be
12
protected.
We're
years
having
old.
fun. We're having fun.
We're 12 years old. This is the type of thing that Patrick Royce just hated. Every time like something would devolve like this, he would literally just walk out of
Did
the
I
room.
say
That's it.
anything that wasn't true?
No, everything was true. Everything was
You
true.
can't allow Robert Quinn to penetrate your offensive line.
Yep.
And that's
Oh,
why you
man.
need a plan of protection.
Oh man. Let's
Because you want to make sure that safe sacks don't happen.
oh my gosh. You know what? There's really no way to do this
Next key.
without being awkward. Let's talk about Federated.
Oh,
all right, let's talk
I
about
didn't
Federated
see-
Mutual
I didn't
Insurance
see this
Company.
coming.
Federated is here to help your business. They're here to help you just, sleep better at night as a business owner, knowing that, oh my gosh.
You're protected.
Knowing that, yes, it's true. Federated's all about risk management. They're all about making sure that the things that could harm your business, and maybe it's the volatile weather in the Twin Cities. I mean, think about what that could do, different things that could impact your business. Federatedinsurance.com if you want to find a full list of industries Federated protects. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, well, we know what the word of the day is. What's the next key?
The next key is this. When you go to Chicago, and it might even be a business trip, but in addition to protection, you're going to go get some good food because it's time to get cooking. Chicago's a great food town, right? Time to
Yes.
get cooking. Dalvin Cook's shoulder, for all we know right now, continues to dangle by a thread. But you know what? In the Vikings' last game, this man had 205 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And his presence alone should, you would hope, scare the Bears. And that means that this could not only be another significant game for Cook, but more importantly, it's going to allow Kirk the ability to pass the ball. Because if they're going to say, well, the Vikings are going to have Cook run a ton, and so we're going to come up in the box and stop the run, that's going to allow Jefferson, if he plays Thielen. And so Dalvin Cook is key number 2, because even if he doesn't have a great game again, the threat is clearly there that he could. And if the Bears don't want to get embarrassed on the ground, they're going to have to account for Cook, and that's going to open up opportunities to throw the football. Time to get cooking.
Yep, and I was very much questioning the decision for Cook to play and for the Vikings to play him in that game against the Steelers. It's like, God, what are you guys doing? But I mean, that was one of his biggest loads of the season in terms of like carries and yardage and everything. I mean, he ran 25 plus times for 200 plus yards. So I don't know. He clearly doesn't feel amazing, but I'm done sort of like, well, you got to keep Dalvin healthy. Let's preserve him. Let's do this. Like, he's in his prime. His contract is kicking in.
Just use them.
If he's good enough to get out there, this is a perfect game to pound it to Dalvin and then play action and find Justin Jefferson down the field. I don't know that I want Kirk throwing the ball 40 times in this game.
Sure.
I think if you can control it on the ground, this is the type of game. Now, if it's a home game or something and there's an opening, all right, air it out. But this is the type of game I just feel like a healthy dose of Dalvin's going to go a long way.
But if I can bring the safeties down to try and stop Cook, I got some passing possibilities, gentlemen.
Yes, indeed.
I got
Yes,
some
indeed.
possibilities. Key number 1 actually tracks back to key 4, which was forget the past. Key 1 is bury them. Bury them. So the Vikings have played 12 one-score games in 13 games this season. They were ahead of the Steelers 29-0 in the third quarter, okay? 29-0, and it ended up being a one-score game. You are facing a 4-9 team that's going to to fire its coach, has lost 2 consecutive games. And just to put into context how far away the Bears are from the Vikings, the Bears' point differential right now is a minus 101. The Vikings are plus 11.
Mm-hmm.
So like we could talk about what the Vikings haven't done right, but there should be, and I know they lost at Detroit, so I can say there should be, and that doesn't mean I'm right, but there should be no comparison. Like, this is not like 2 struggling teams. This is an underachieving team against a crappy team. Justin Fields, I really believe, is going to be fine and be good eventually, but he's certainly not there yet. I know it's on the road, and I know anybody can win a game, and that's absolutely true in this league. All of that being said, go in there and do what you did against the Steelers, but don't let up. Bury them. They're looking to be buried. They are actively wanting to be buried. Bury them. Win by 21, win by 20, but most importantly, throttle down in the first quarter and don't stop until you get on the plane to come home.
Yeah, the Bears have lost 4 straight home games. They're not really getting smoked. I mean, that game against Green Bay got a little out of hand late, but the Bears were leading by double digits.
Right, but the give up, just make them give up. Like, you've got them in the corner. Just start hitting them and don't stop until the referee's giving the 10 count.
Would you rather face, if both guys were healthy, would you rather face Justin Fields or Andy Dalton?
Personally, Dalton, because I think I can come up with a defense for him that I know is going to work. Fields can improvise more and he can do more things, but this is the time in Fields' career to get to him too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in 3 years he might be damn good, but right now he's on a bad team and he's trying to learn, and it's not super fair to him. But I think if I had my druthers, I'd face Dalton, because at least with Dalton, I think my game plan, I know exactly what it can be. And I don't think Dalton can go outside of what I'm going to game plan for.
Yeah, I'd rather face Dalton easily, even though Dalton did burn the Vikings last year on the Cowboys, so that was fun. But I'd rather get Dalton again.
Yeah, Fields, it's hard to tell with Fields. He's shown some flashes, but there's also been some head scratchers. I also just don't know if he's got the right coaching staff. Same with, Trevor Lawrence, that poor guy. Just, they totally wasted a year.
Yep.
With this idiot Urban Meyer, and now we'll see. But I don't know.
Yep.
Fields has a ton of talent. He can obviously get out of the pocket and run around. So there's something there, but he's prone to make big mistakes too. I'm with Judd. Like, on paper, you should throttle this team. If this was any other team but the Vikings, in this situation, I would say this is your chance. But the Vikings have found a way to make every single game unnecessarily close, including a game last week in which you led 29-0 and was sweating it on the final play.
Right.
So, all right, just play a complete game for God's sakes and go take it to this team. You probably have to finish 3-1 to assure yourself a spot in the playoffs. 2-2 is going to be tough with tiebreakers. If you don't win this game, it's going to be hard to win the last 3 games. And so this is almost a must-win mathematically, unless you think you're going to beat the Packers and the Rams.
You've got to beat the Bears twice. You just have to.
Yep. All right, those are Judd's keys to a Vikings win at Soldier Field. They are 4-16 in the last 20 years at Soldier Field.
And
it ain't like, you're not playing the Brett. I can see Lambeau, right? Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Like, you're playing Rex Grossman.
The Bears are so weird too, because they've definitely in the last 20 years had some really good teams, but it's not like year after year. Because the Bears that franchise seems to be so up and down.
Yeah, the Bears are who we thought they were.
The Bears are who they thought they were, and then they're good, and then that's one of the great meltdowns of all time by our guy Denny.
Let him off the hook.
One of the great jobs of all time, deferring blame or pushing blame away from his players because the meltdown was so great.
So I think that was a Sunday night game. And the Cardinals, because Denny was coaching the Cardinals, they were up like 3 touchdowns. I think they were up like 21-0 or 21-3. And the Bears, I believe, scored 3 non-offensive touchdowns or something. Like, it was like Devin Hester.
Yeah, punt return, right?
Yeah, and there might have been an interception return in there or something. Poor Denny.
Denny.
Rest in peace, man. All right, go back to resting. Just make sure Judd's Keys quarantines for at least a few days, okay? Just
I
want to
gotta-
make sure you
I
don't pass your
can't.
COVID on to him.
I can't be responsible for Keys, okay?
I'm
don't ask me
I'm
to
not
be
asking you to be. I'm
responsible.
talking to Keys.
Nolan is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Keys comes up with stuff that's not super mature all the time. I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, he does have some maturity issues. All right, that's a wrap. Mackey and Judd here. Feedback Friday. Judd's Keys. Don't forget Vikings Vent Line right after Bears Vikings finishes up on the Purple Daily YouTube channel on Monday night. See you guys.